Someone You Should Know. A program about people you know and even more that you don't. Hosted by Stuart Sachs, veteran, husband, father, and grandfather. Now, here's your host, Stuart Sachs.
Well, welcome everyone to the last show of 2020. And I don't know about you, but I think there's a lot of people that 2020 was one of those unforgettable years that we all want to forget and just move on into 2021 and better times ahead. As I say, the light at the end of the tunnel. But we are finishing up our year with a very, very great show this morning. I have as my guest Linda Munson. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Stuart.
And Linda is with Housewarmers USA. And it's a great organization that, you know, I guess the best way I could summarize it, I'm going to have you summarize it even better, is that it's putting people with people. It's connecting people to local businesses. I think that is probably one of the greatest opportunities for small independent businesses to take advantage of in their immediate communities. Did I kind of wrap that up in a little nutshell pretty well?
Yeah, that sounds like a perfect 30-second commercial.
Yeah, and having met you through the NetWeavers group in Allen, I started to learn more and more about Housewarmers. I wish that back when my wife and I were in the retail business, before we retired, I wish I had known about Housewarmers then, because it would have been the perfect thing for us as small independent retailers to take advantage of, to reach out to the community. So why don't you start a little bit by telling people what Housewarmers is and what it does in the community that you represent?
Well, I'm in the Allen, Parker, Fairview, and Lucas area, and we've been running this program for 20 years. Almost 21 years continuously. I'm the third owner of this franchise, and I've been involved with it. I've owned it 11 years, and I've been delivering gift bags for 14 years. So we go out into the community, and based off of mortgage filings with the county and public information, we know who moved in, and we knock on their doors, and there's 8 of us that deliver 200 gift bags a month. And wow. I keep them in the community, in their neighborhood areas as much as possible, so they are meeting their neighbors. And the people who are moving in can know that, hey, the school in the neighborhood is, oh, my kid goes there too. Your kid's going to go there. Are they the same age? Can you set up play dates? I mean, there's all sorts of things that we can do on that personal level and make them feel welcome in the community. But what we have in the gift bag is the great local businesses in the community. So they don't have to go sifting through and figuring it out themselves. There's 10 garage door companies. Which one's a good one? We tell them, this is the one we use. This is the one your neighbor uses. So it just gives them that comfort and welcome, and that somebody's talking to them, so they trust them.
Yeah, and what's great about a service like this is, you know, granted, there are some people maybe that move from one community just to an adjacent community. So they're already familiar with a lot of the businesses. But we live in North Texas, which is one of the fastest growing areas of the country. And there are people that are moving here from literally all points of this country. And many of them know absolutely no one. They move here, they move into their house, and all of a sudden, now what do? They need to look for doctors, they need to look for churches, they need to look for other business connections. Doctors always has been one of the big ones for me, is when you relocate from another part of the country to reestablish with doctors, dentists, orthodontists, dermatologists, everybody that you need. Who do you go to? You go online and you're going to find just dozens and dozens and dozens, and who's the best one for you? To have a service like this that can connect you a little bit faster, prevents me from having to knock on my neighbors' doors and saying, "Hey, listen, my wife chipped her tooth and she needs a dentist. Who would you recommend?" So this is what you're out canvassing for all the time, correct?
Correct. And a lot of people, they don't want to go knock on their neighbor's door because they don't know them. And it's like, well, you can't know them until you knock on their door. But there's that little wall that a lot of people have right now. But coming to their door, knocking on it, they're more than willing to open it. If we initiate, they will open it. People are a little hesitant to initiate at all times, not just in the pandemic, but at all times they're like, oh, I've lived on this street for years and I don't even know my neighbors. Like, well, did you ever go knock on their door? And they're like, well, no, I felt kind of funny. So we kind of break that down and get them feeling like the community is welcoming. So hopefully we connect them to moms groups and give them other resources too, not just local businesses.
Now, do you go through a screening process with each of the companies and all that you're putting into your bags?
Oh, yes. They have to be ones that pretty much I've dealt with or somebody that I trust has done business with and that they have a solid reputation. I tend to, like brand new businesses, I am more than happy to help them open their doors and get themselves going, introduce them to networking opportunities, a chamber of commerce, connect them to people that they need. I'm hesitant to actually put them in my bag and bring it out because they don't have any reviews yet. When we go to a homeowner, a new one, and we say, hey, this restaurant is the greatest restaurant since sliced bread, they're going to take that information and go out and look for themselves. They're going to look at reviews. If there aren't any reviews, they're going to question what I said. And then it therefore questions everything else that's in the bag. So brand new businesses that really don't have a footing yet, I will be happy to help them, connect them to people like you and other people in our networking groups to get them going. Once they have some traction in the community and reviews and local neighbors, on next door saying, oh yeah, that's a good place to go, then that's more my client, the established ones.
Yeah, you bring up next door. I mean, almost on a daily basis, there will be a post on Nextdoor. Somebody says, "I need a plumber." Boy, oh boy, there will be a stream as long as your arm with each one a different plumber, and all of a sudden you're no further ahead on your selection than because everybody knows a plumber and call this guy because is he licensed? Is he bonded? Is he good? Has he got a reputation? How many years has he been in business? Is his pricing fair? These are the things that you do. You reach out and you find those people that are best set. Because I think what you said is important, that if you put in a reference that has not been pre-screened and vetted, then somebody goes and calls them and they come out and they do a bad job. Boy, there's your bag out the window. Somebody's going to say, I can't trust anything else in this bag. But it's good to know that when people are vulnerable and just move into that neighborhood, here is something that they can start digging through and say, oh, I'm so glad there's a dentist in here and there's a lawyer in here and there's a plumber and there's also these local restaurants. Like you say, we got tons and tons and tons of the national restaurants, but it's the local restaurants that you want to try and steer people to.
Right. The ones that they're not going to find until like 10 years down the road. And like, how could I have lived here 10 years and not known about this?
Yeah.
Or the companies that have been here for 20, 30, like Rodenbaugh's has been here since 1962, but it's off on the side. It's in downtown Allen and people run to Home Depot and Lowe's. And it's like, wait, if you want to get somebody who knows about your appliances or your flooring or, have a greater selection, then go over there. But new people don't see them. And it's like, that's what we're working for, is making sure Allen Jewelers, who's been here forever, is known about and can stand up above the other competition and the noise. Because people want to support local, but they have to know who is local.
Yeah, you have to know local before you can support local. And you mentioned Rodenbaugh's, a family-owned and operated appliance company here that is locally in a community. But I can guarantee you that their prices are going to be very, very similar to the big box stores. The big advantage that you have by going to that independent that they may find out because of housewarmers is not only are they going to sell you that appliance, but they're going to maintain it. So you might buy the appliance from a big box store, but if you need a service on it, well, they'll give you the name of somebody that they work with, but they don't necessarily have the staff to come out and maintain the property.
Right.
And that's a prime consideration. Now you mentioned that Housewarmers is basically local. It's a 20-some-year-old company. I grew up in the Midwest and they had Welcome Wagon, and the concept was similar. I would assume that there are certain aspects of the Welcome Wagon that are in the Housewarmers model, but I remember my mom worked with Welcome Wagon for a short while, because number one, we were in an established neighborhood, and when new people moved in, she was quick to call, that company, Welcome Wagon, and say, hey, the Smiths just moved in at this address on this street, and that was marrying up the contacts. The same thing is true, I think, with Housewarmers. It's you reach out. Where do your referrals come from? Is it mostly from the real estate companies?
It's actually from mostly Collin County when deeds are filed. Okay. Some it's change of address forms from the post office. And then, of course, people fall through the cracks for whatever reason. I get people from networking that will say, oh, I just had a new neighbor move in. Migrators, since they live in the areas, I was like, if you see somebody moving in, run over and welcome them, get their information. So one thing, we do the personal delivery. We knock on the doors and we don't leave the packages. If they're not home, we leave a card in the door, but we don't leave the bags. Once we deliver the package, we ask for an email address so that we can put them on our newsletter. So we do a monthly newsletter. All of our local businesses have visibility in that. So it's just repetition through the newsletter. And it's one newsletter. So our new residents aren't getting bombarded by, 50 different emails. They're just getting one that's full of information. And then our local businesses get to know exactly who received their information, so they can do very targeted follow-up with them. So it's not just a drop it off and run and that's it. We have over 9,000 people on our newsletter that we've greeted in the last 10 years that have given us their email addresses, and my phone number's everywhere. So I get texts from numbers and they ask me questions. Like somebody the other day was asking me about the trails in Allen and texted me and said, hey, we're going to be up there and we want to do some trails. What's this one like? And we're going to have a stroller and we want wide and blah, blah, blah. So I was able to give her the information. I don't know who it is. It's somebody that needed connecting. So.
Right. And as I say, we are one of the fastest growing areas of the country. And I can guarantee, even in my neighborhood, a great source for your business is to just travel some of the neighborhoods, or as you say, the people that go and actually greet these new residents. If you go up and down the streets and you see a sign that says house for sale, the houses sell very, very quickly here. So you know that if that house is for sale and somebody is leaving, there's going to be a new family moving in probably within 30 to 60 days. So that becomes now another reference point for you. You said that you reach out like to the chambers of commerce and everything to find some of the people to participate. What are there various levels of participation that people have? For instance, if I have a small independent restaurant and I want to reach out and I call Linda Munson and I say, hey, you know what? I think I'd like to maybe get involved with your program. Are there levels that people can get involved in it?
Yeah, we each set our own prices in our areas, and we can do whatever basically what we want to do. So I have it set up that nonprofits are one level, small home-based businesses like Mary Kay will be another level. I limit the number that are only in the newsletter because we want the full package. But I work with local businesses. I mean, some have higher profit margins than others. So you have to treat everybody differently, and customize it. And we have general guidelines to go with, but they're guidelines. And a good business that really supports the community and people really need to know about, there's a different, need to get it out there. So we just work with everybody as much as we can. And it's not a fit for everybody, that's sure, but it's a great option.
Well, if somebody wanted to participate, is this a long-term contract that they get involved in, or is it customized to their business and their needs and their budget?
We like to do at a minimum a 6-month contract, just because it's different. Our processes are different than your traditional print marketing. It's not the first of the month, everything goes out and boom. It's over the course of a month that we're doing the deliveries.
Right.
And then the next month is our newsletter. So if you only do 1 month, you're hardly even getting anything going, and you haven't had a chance to do any follow-up. So it's the repetition and the link.
Sure.
It's the farming part of it. It's not hunting. You're farming. You're making a presence in the community and getting people to know, like, and trust you.
Well, and it also, I think it's a very, very good plan, because 1 month maybe you're delivering 100 bags, and the next month you're delivering 300 bags. But if somebody is advertising their business through a program over 6 months, you have a better way of charting how many people actually used that coupon or called your business to make an appointment. But also by word of mouth. If I'm advertising my restaurant and I see that over that 6-month period, you know what? I've had 50, 60 people that came in over that 6-month period and said they brought in the coupon or they mentioned housewarmers. Now I, as a business owner, may call another friend who's in a business and say, hey, this is a good program. You should consider getting into it.
And the thing to remember with what we're doing, we're going to new residents. So they're moving in, they're setting up their services, and they're trying to get their feet on the ground. So they may not immediately need an air conditioning guy, but they're going to in the future. And they need to know, especially if they're moving from out of state into Texas, how our air conditioners run and how we have to care for them. So it's going to take some time to build that. Well, they're going to have to trust somebody and really have that name in their back pocket. So when their air conditioner goes, they know exactly who they're going to call and not have to be running.
Yeah, they don't have to start canvassing for who's going to do it. I mean,
Right.
It's probably a good idea to get an opinion from a couple of people, but do you find that most of the people that get involved in your program do it in such a way that they offer some kind of a discount or a coupon, and also that is a way that they can chart, a response to that marketing?
Yes, they have a coupon, an offer that's special for the new residents. So it's a higher incentive, but it goes to a limited number of people. But it's the follow-up that's really the big part of it, and the repetition through the monthly newsletter. It just keeps their names in front of their potential clients, and it starts building that familiarity. Because if you hear of a name and then you go look, you Google and you go, oh, that name's familiar, I'll call that. You may not know why that name's familiar, but it's familiar, so you're going to call it.
Right. Now, do you also have to sort out all of the maybe people that want to get involved? Because you mentioned an air conditioner company. There are literally hundreds of them in the area. So you don't want to fill a bag up with 12 or 15 companies that are in the air conditioning business. Is that falls on your shoulders to kind of go through and pick one or two to include in your bag?
We're industry exclusive, so we have one.
Okay, so it's kind of like a Rotary Club. Operates kind of that way. They try to keep their membership exclusive to different businesses, and that's
right. And it makes it easier for the new residents. You say, this is the air conditioning company to go to.
This is the go-to guy.
In when we go to older homes, and our deliveries changed a little bit with the pandemic, but we used to flip through our coupon book. So this is our coupon book.
Oh, okay.
We'd flip through and we'd say, oh, here's, Allen Jewelers. Or in the older homes, we would say, if you need flooring appliances, because a lot of people would move in with intentions of doing
some
home remodeling.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, you can go to Rodenbaugh's and they have, free or $50 off of appliance delivery. And we can tell them it's the oldest business in Allen. And if you go to the natatorium, that's the Rodenbaugh natatorium, and they go, oh, click. And that means they're more part of the community. And it's just ways of making them remember the name. So we could point out, if there's younger kids, we go, oh, here's the pediatric dentist, or here's the, whatever would kind of suit the person who answered the door. We don't go through everything. And of course, not everybody's going to need all the services we have, but we just conversationally say, hey, there's some great things in town. And if you need anything, our number's on the back. So give us a call and we'd be happy to help you anytime you need it. So
that was going to be one of my follow-up questions, is that someone has their bag and has these coupons and has this information, but maybe they need something from someone who is not in the bag. They can call and say, I'm in need of someone to trim my trees, or so they're overgrown, and maybe there isn't a tree trimmer that's in the bag. Do you have this master Rolodex or something of people that they may be able to turn to?
Yes, and in that case, I would give them a couple of references. People that we know from the chamber or NetWeavers or another networking group, or somebody that I've used personally, and say, here's two, you go call them and you figure out which one you like.
Right. So, you kind of become as I say, that Rolodex for the community, for people that are looking. I mentioned churches earlier. When people move into a community, one of the first things is they may want to be connected with churches. Do you get involved in any way with some of the churches and synagogues and mosques and all of that, as far as connecting information for new residents?
Yes, and the way we handle churches and restaurants is there's one of each like in churches, denomination. So we could
Right.
have a Baptist, a Catholic, and a Methodist church, and synagogues and mosques. So I could have, 5 or 6 religious organizations, but they're different. And the same with restaurants. I'd have one Italian restaurant, one Mexican restaurant, in that way. But yeah, I would love more participation with both those categories.
Well, and I've got notes here, and it seems like you're throwing out little suggestions and tidbits that go right into another item that I have on my list, and that is this show reaches people nationwide, and Housewarmers is just really you concentrate on just a 3-state area right now.
We're growing it. Our headquarters, I guess, is Greenville, Texas, is kind of between Greenville and Rockwall. And we have Salina, Prosper. We go up north to Grayson County, and we're out in Rockwall, and there's a couple here. So we're growing it. We're looking at some down around the Austin area, some areas down there. The faster growing areas are of course, that's where the big move-ins are. So that's where we would want to grow Housewarmers, the name. Mm-hmm.
And did I read that also Housewarmers also extends into Oklahoma and to Louisiana?
We've had franchises there before.
Okay.
I don't believe they're as functioning as we are here in Texas.
Well, the idea, and the point that I want to make for those of you that are watching and listening to the show is that even though Housewarmers is a northern Texas concentration right now, if you're in Colorado and this sounds like really an interesting thing, and you maybe don't have another service of its kind, Housewarmers might become the model, or you may be able to find out that they'll allow you to franchise in Colorado in your community to start a Housewarmers there. I think it's a matter of just connecting with Linda or with Housewarmers USA to find out what any of those opportunities, because I think that the one thing we can all agree on is that this is a very, very good opportunity, both to people moving into a community and also for those, especially independent companies. You don't need to put in coupons from McDonald's and Burger King and all of that into a Housewarmers bag. What you want to do is connect people to their community. And the concept is a very old concept. I mentioned Welcome Wagon. Welcome Wagon is nearly 100 years old. And has been doing this in small and mid-sized communities for decades. This is a great opportunity here in our DFW area to get involved, because, everybody loves coupons. Everybody loves a little bit of a break. And when somebody knocks on your door and says, I'm from Housewarmers and I just want to welcome you to the community, now you and your husband and your kids and whatever can go through this and find out all these opportunities that are in their neighborhood that they probably didn't know about from the realtor. The realtor didn't tell them that you had all of these great things. This is what Linda Munson can connect you with.
And even if the realtor did tell them, they have so much going on, they can't retain it.
Sure.
So they need that repetition, that reminder that these things are here in the community. And really, from the last I saw of Welcome Wagon, they still exist, but they just do mailings. So this is a step up. It's much more personal. It's, I think, what we used to have in the community. And we're just here trying to keep that small town feel that neighbors do know neighbors. And to let them know there's a lot more to the community they moved into, and they can find it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and it's more than a neighbor coming over with a freshly baked pie and welcoming you to the neighborhood. This is something that, as you said, they may be able to take advantage of for immediately, because if there is a need for something that's in that bag, they may do it. but otherwise it's something that they can keep in the house. And when there is that need, when one of those appliances starts to go, now they can go back into that bag and say, listen, I think there was a referral for what we now need.
Right.
On the screen, they're showing what your website and all, and it's very, very inviting. A lot of information there about house warmers, and I invite those that are watching and listening to take advantage of it, to know, and not only to know from what services that you provide to those residents, but also to see what the advantages are of calling Linda and saying, listen, I have this small business. I'm a CPA. We're getting ready to go into tax season. If there is not already a CPA that's in that bag, then maybe there's an opportunity for you and your CPA firm to become an attachment to some of the people that are moving into the area. Are there? I think you mentioned earlier. Are there certain areas where you have a need for those businesses to be in the housewarmers program?
Medical doctors, insurance, and a lot of home services, garage door companies, air conditioning, plumbers. Mid-sized companies are best. A lot of the sole proprietor plumbers, the ones that you see out there on Nextdoor, most of their business is through word of mouth, and they're probably as busy as they can handle. And those are hard to verify too, because they probably don't have websites and reviews out there. So we're looking for the mid-sized businesses that have been here for a while, and the ones that think, oh, everybody knows about me, I've been here 30 years. It's yeah, but we've added so many people, and the core customers have aged, and some have passed away, some have gone into smaller homes that they're not responsible for anymore, so they don't need the plumbers, or they've moved away to where their adult children live. And these companies that have always had a strong base, they're starting to lose that, because they're just now realizing, oh, where did the core go to? And they haven't done any real marketing or advertising. And what we do is so targeted, and it's small, that it's very affordable for companies. You're not looking at thousands of dollars a month that you're putting into a print ad that goes to thousands of homes, but some of them are your customers already, and others have been here, they're established, and they already have their preferred vendors. So it's hard to switch over.
Yeah, I would think this is also a great opportunity. For instance, if there is a company that is outside of your area, but they're going to expand their operation into your area, this is a good opportunity for them to get involved with you, so that you can now promote their business as being established maybe for 20 or 30 years, but they're now coming to the community that you service.
Right. Yeah, that would be great. And pet services would be a great company. Mobile groomers, veterinarians.
Oh, okay.
About as many homes moving in with pets as they have kids.
Exactly. And also, if you're a veterinarian, it's a good idea, because if there is that much of a need, then there may be for not only veterinarians, but also for places where you can board your pet when you have to go out of town, and it's a great opportunity. And as you say, can you give us, this is a double-edged sword question. People obviously should get in touch with you to discuss how they can customize the program for them. But is there any kind of dollar guideline that you could say somebody wants to come in and try a program? They want to put a one-page flyer with a coupon attached to it or so, and they want to take advantage of a program for 6 months to begin with. Is there a rough dollar figure they can be looking at?
That's really difficult, because it depends on their business. If they're nonprofit, are they, a high profit? It's just, they just need to call, and I'd be happy to talk to them and go over. I can't hear you. Stuart, I can't hear you.
You got me now. Can you hear me now? Hello. Hello, am I there? All right, let me.
I don't hear Stuart.
There we go. All right. You'll be able to hear me.
I hear you.
Yeah. So I heard you said you couldn't hear him.
No, I can't hear Stuart.
Stuart, whatever you changed on your end, you need to change it back. It was working, but for some reason she wasn't hearing you.
Still not hearing him.
I know. It's kind of weird to see him move his
How's
mouth.
that? Now, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I
Linda,
can't
can you hear
hear
me? What I'll do is
I'm going to check the stream and see.
Doesn't it?
well, all right. Take the bag off of the shelf
He's saying take the bag off the shelf.
and show that. So we have an interpreter.
So this is what we deliver. We have our coupon book.
Well, all right. Take the bag.
Okay, so he is live on the channel, so it's got to be something that's on your end.
Whose end?
On my end?
On Linda's end, because she can't hear you, Stuart.
Oh, okay. All right, but she can hear you.
She
Mark.
can hear me. Yeah, and I just checked the stream, and you're nice and live.
All right. So tell Linda to
Well,
let
I
the
didn't hear
audience know
anything.
a
I'm
little
not sure
bit
what
more
happened.
about what the bag is all about, how people can contact her, and all to get involved.
All right. So he would like to know, tell a little bit about the bag and what's in the bag and how they can get a hold of you.
Well, through my website, you can contact me or my phone number and email that are down here. What's in the bag are promotional products. We have fly swatters, things that people will keep and keep the names in front of them. Pens, pizza cutters, things like that. Some businesses have a signature item, so we would carry that out for them. That's pretty much what's in the bag. Anything that the companies want to send out, brochures explaining their services, that
Is
kind
it
of
up to the
information.
businesses to provide all?
So the
provide
big
that
power
information?
for the local businesses is that they know exactly who has been exposed to their brand so that they can do additional follow-ups. Maybe at certain times of the year, like air conditioning companies, they know you have to prep for the summer and then prep for the winter. so they could send out reminders to people at that time of year. And the repetition, going back to the people over and over doing the drip campaigns, that's the big thing. But yeah, on our website, there's a drop down, and our Good Neighbor 7-point marketing systems on there that explains all the points that we do for our local businesses. And like I said before, we've been customizing it for them. So depending on what the business is, we can help get their name out in the community in the most efficient way for them.
So
I wish I could read lips.
Stuart, you have another question?
yeah, I was going to ask you that those things like the koozies and the fly swatter that she's, it's up to the companies to provide that to her to put into the bags.
So he's asking that is it up to the companies to decide what to put into the bags? Their fly swatters and their koozies and all.
Right. It's their preference. Because they're doing this to stand out from the crowd, we'll let them know what other businesses are putting in, so we don't end up with a fistful of pens. And then it just becomes a pen that, we like them to be as unique as the businesses are.
Yeah, obviously you need more than a business card to establish who you are and what you can do.
Well, he said obviously you need a business card to establish more than who you are and what you do.
Right. Yeah, a brochure explaining what they're doing. Just seeing if I had any in here. But yeah, brochure and a promotional product. And kitchen promotional products are really good because, like jar openers, people keep those forever. Magnets are pretty good. They put them on the side of the refrigerator for quick access.
Chip clips would be a good idea.
Yeah, chip clips, sticky pads.
Yeah,
they're good because they have 25 sheets in it, so you're going to be seen at least 25 times as they're
Magnetic calendars.
Yeah,
calendars.
Yeah, calendars. Yeah, we've had water bottles.
Yeah. Drinking every day.
For years had a 4-foot ruler that we carried out. We've had tape measures, keychains.
Gums, spearmint gums, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the more the unique, the better for the homeowner.
So we help if a business doesn't have an item already, we can connect them with local promotional product people to help them find what they need.
I was going to say, if you're a promotional product company, you should be in the housewarmers bag too.
He said if you are, this is really complicated, Stuart.
I'm like a ventriloquist, So what does that make you, Mark?
He thinks he's a ventriloquist, and I'm like, I'm not the dummy. I don't get to say exactly what he says. So next time, Stuart, slower vocabulary.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
can you type in the private chat?
He can. Yes.
See, we got to pivot. This is
there you go, Stuart.
Funny.
Even I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
So, but Mark, post the website and the phone number again.
Got it. And we are, by the way, folks, having a little technical difficulties. Linda cannot hear Stuart, so I came on to help Stuart. Stuart's a little fast in his conversation and thinks that I'm the dummy. So, happy hump day.
Well, just ask her if
it's
somebody.
The last Wednesday of 2020.
We'll get everything figured out by next year.
Okay, so it's too long for him to type it in, and so he said we'll just get everything figured out before the end of next year.
And one thing that I would ask is if there are people that are watching or listening to the show that may be interested in helping Linda deliver these packages? Are there opportunities out there?
So that's a good question. So he's asking if there's opportunities, if anybody wanted to help you to deliver. Is there an opportunity for people to volunteer?
Oh, well, if they want to volunteer, that would be great, but it is a paid position. So yeah, we're always looking for community members who wants to go out and meet their neighbors. It's a great part-time job. Evenings and weekends, kids, if they're well behaved, they can carry the bags up to the doors and do it as a family thing. So it's very flexible. My son was almost 3 when I started. My daughter was 7. So it's worked around all sorts of activities and vacations. So yeah, they can call me, send me an email.
Right.
Be happy to talk to local people.
All right, Mark, thank you very much for being a part of the show. We apologize for the technical difficulties and all, but I want to wish her the very best going forward with Housewarmers.
He wants to wish you the very best. Happy New Year, and thank you for coming on and being a part of the show. And look forward to seeing what housewarmersallen.com goes to and what you do in your future for 2021.
Well, thank you very much for asking me to be on your show, and it's been a lot of fun. So Happy New Year and off 2021.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Is that it, Stuart?
Yep. I think we'll call it a wrap.
Stuart, Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy
Same
New
to
Year.
you. And to everyone that's watching and listening, thank you.
All right.